Hello everybody, welcome back to Planet X News. It is September 12th, 2023. And folks, just as I promised, I wanted to get on here. I know I'm a little bit late in the evening, but I wanted to get on here and I wanted to show you these updated photographs of the Planet X object's movement. And if you haven't seen this before, it's quite interesting. The photograph that we have on the left-hand side of your screen, I was able to capture this on the C1 program. So this is a coronagraph view. It is September 3rd. You can see the upcoming position of this object in its elliptical orbit around the sun. And we've spoken about this many times before. And this object is now coming back into view. So at that moment in time, during this snapshot, it was at the 5 o'clock position. 7 days later, if you look to the right side photograph, September 10th, almost close to the same time stamp. And you could see the time stamp right up here. It's in military time. So in that amount of time, 7 days, this object has moved that much. Now, right now, and as I've said before, we normally capture this object at the 3 o'clock position when it's coming back into its orbit around the sun. I don't know exactly why I have captured this object, I don't know how many times over the course of the last several years, but it seems to be in very specific areas as it's passing the sun, such as the 5 o'clock position, the 3 o'clock position, then soon to be the 1 o'clock position, and then as it loops back around the sun, we lose view of it through these coronagraphs. Then when it comes back into view, if we're lucky, we'll get a view either at the 10 o'clock position, the 9 o'clock position for sure, and then as it heads out and below the ecliptic plane, then we lose sight of it because of the positioning of this space satellite. It's zoomed very far into the sun. Now, if it was zoomed out quite a bit, we would get a broader look at this object as it's coming and going. But we will get a final view of it as it's exiting, normally between the 9 and 7 o'clock position. So we are getting a lot of good imagery. I just wish it was in high definition, but back then, when these coronagraphs, these space satellites were put into space, folks, they didn't have that technology. Some of the programming has been updated, but you could update the programming all you want. This also has hardware attached to it. And I'm referring to these space satellites that have the coronagraph views that we're looking at right now. As you folks can all notice, my speech is still not back up to par. I still have to get this this dental procedure done. I don't know, and hopefully it alleviates the Bell's palsy. I still can't feel the right side of my lips, upper, lower, half my tongue, and my teeth. So that's the issue right now I'm having, and it's kind of hard to pronounce some of these letters in our vocabulary. But anyways, I wanted to start this video off by showing you this side-by-side view. And this gives you a good perspective of how this object is traveling around the sun. And as we go through this progression in the next several videos, then I want you to start to, imagine, form this orbit in your mind, so you know. And this has been one of the ways that I've been able to and I hate to use the word predict, but foresee large earthquakes, volcanic activity, things of that nature. Also, this has a lot to do with our weather. I've been talking about that for quite some time. And I have to be very honest, folks. I have to be very careful what I say on my YouTube channel. Some other less known channels may be able to get away with talking about climate change and things like that. And, they're going to go, scientists are just going to go with their same BS. Okay. But there are definite reasons why we're having these weather anomalies, and that's what I like to call them. Because the Earth is always going to change. It's been changing for millions and millions of years. I'm in the Pittsburgh area, and all people have been talking about is these big heat spells. And I had a photograph that I took in, I believe it was August of 2015. In my one Mazda 3 that I had, it had on the dashboard there, it had a little digital readout of the temperature outside. And on that day, in August of 2015, it was 100 degrees here in southwestern Pennsylvania. I'm just a little bit south of the city of Pittsburgh, like 20 miles. So, we do get hot temperatures. We do have winter storms. We do have hurricanes. We do have tornadoes. We do have earthquakes. We do have volcanoes. All of these things are the Earth. They're all part of it. The Earth is constantly changing. But these nitwits, I don't know, folks, you know that they have an agenda. And that's all that I could say. I do have the Planet X News private website. That's on my Subscribe Star program. It's uncensored. There's a $5 monthly membership, but I share a lot of stuff there, and it's kind of like a Facebook page. You guys can comment. You can send me direct messages. I post pictures, videos, links, a lot of information that I personally can't come onto this YouTube channel and discuss. I mean, I'm highly targeted on Twitter already. I'm highly targeted on Facebook. I mean, my Facebook page gets restricted in the course of a year, probably about 6-7 times. They've been targeting me for years. And I have to be very careful because that affects the Planet X News Facebook page, because it's tied in with my personal page. And they limit my reach. Even though there's like 50, 60,000 people that follow the page, if I post things, you won't even see them for maybe a week. You may never see them. But anyways, folks, the link, if you want to join the Subscribe Star private Planet X network, there's a link in the description box under all of the videos. And I believe it might be labeled Planet X Private Network. Subscribe Star is the link. And you simply go in there, sign up. Because Subscribe Star is like a private network, there is a $5 monthly fee. And for me not to be censored, it was worth putting this together. And I've had this this particular site for several years now, and we do have quite a lot of members that have followed the Planet X News channel, and they've joined Subscribe and I'm able to put a lot of stuff up there that I just can't put on the regular social media. I just can't do it, you know. But anyways, let's take a look at these photographs. I don't want to keep on boring you guys. Let me just get out of here real quick and let me see here. I'll get these from the beginning because these are quite interesting. So this was the 10th. Okay, military time 21/12/12. And once again, you could see the coronal mass ejection. The coronal mass ejections, all of the energy that's spewing out of the sun at this point in time, it kind of illuminates this object. It kind of lights it up. Because it seems that this object just like has the ability to like either absorb light. It does not produce its own light in any form, but it does have a very, very high magnetic field, very strong magnetic field. And I believe that interaction is what causes these massive coronal mass ejections. And if you notice, every single photograph that we've been able to capture over the years has involved these coronal mass ejections. It's kind of like you lighting a match. The match catches on fire. Well, when this object cruises by the sun at this very close distance, it lights the match. The result are large coronal mass ejections. The end result is it illuminates this object, and maybe illumination may not be the actual scientific thing that's happening there, but whatever happens with that CMA, it brings out this object so we can see it. And again, it's based on the old technology that is in these coronagraphs, in these satellites, that were able to capture the data. Now listen, they scrub this. You, as the public, you won't be seeing this. You'll get what they censor and the frames that they put together, and then they load for public view. You'll see something similar, but you're not going to be able to catch. And what I call this like the micro data. You know, because there's so much data that gets transferred from the satellite down to Earth for them to then produce the coronagraph images. So if you're kind of able to get in between these large frames, you can see the smaller frames. And within them smaller frames is the evidence that, you know, you're not going to see. You'll see it here. That's for damn sure. But you can see the positioning right now. So we're at the 3 o'clock position, and it's the 10th. So in a 7-day period, that object went from here to here. How many miles is that? I have no idea. Couldn't tell you on that aspect there, folks, because I just don't have that type of knowledge for that. But here we go. We'll just go through these. This is a closer view. The red crosses that you'll see here, the plus signs, that's part of the program, and it shows you the strongest direction of the coronal mass ejection. And look what's encapsulated in it. Huh. Incredible. Let me see if I could get this to move forward here. It's zipping back and forth. This is just more of a close-up. It's really not the clearest because, you know, you're getting a lot of interference and just the entire total blast of these coronal mass ejections. The spewing out of the heavily charged particles, I am assuming for all of these years that it creates quite a bit of interference with the electronics that are on all of these space satellites that are out there. And a lot of them, folks, have been out there for decades. So the technology is of that age. But, it'd be nice if you had a nice high-definition photograph. You could probably see more detail of maybe what the landscape of this crazy object looks like. Let me see if these are the right buttons to use. Or am I going backwards? This is directly from LASCO, and this is the same photograph. We're just looking at it through a different coronagraph view. Quite interesting. I mean, I've seen so many of these photographs, folks, over the years, and I've captured so many of them. And you think maybe after all these years it would get boring, but every time I see it, it's like pulling the lever on a slot machine and getting a little bounty, But it's amazing. It's amazing that we can see it. It's also fascinating to me that it's taken all of these years to figure it out. With all the myths out there, all of the disinformation and the censoring. And I stayed at it. While all of the others pissing around on YouTube with their ridiculous videos and never showing any evidence, all of the evidence, it's all been right here. It's all been right here. That's why I became the most targeted. Now the others, they've fallen to the wayside. They're gone. But me, I'm steadfast. And, even as sick as I was and am right now, because I'm still not feeling very well from that Lyme disease. I get these little reoccurring things, and the fatigue has been something that's been plaguing me a little bit, and the joint pain. But I've started taking some supplements and things of that nature. It seems to be working, and I even delved into purchasing for a few bucks one of these therapeutic copper bracelets with magnets in it, and the magnets sit right at the inside part of your wrist, and you could it's malleable, the copper, so you could bend it close to your wrist. Has 3 magnets on each side, and I've been wearing it steady 24 hours a day for the last 2 weeks, and I gotta say, I've been sleeping better, and I don't know, maybe it's a placebo effect, but a lot of the joint pain that I have here and there has kind of almost gone away. So those things are pretty cool. I picked it up on Amazon. It was like $24, and I really wanted to try it, and it seems to be working. But anyways, sorry to get sidetracked here. This is a closer view. Again, because of the resolution, that there's nothing that I could do about that, folks, because the resolution is the original video within the data. I don't manipulate the photographs in any way. I don't, try to filter them out or anything like that. You see the raw data. You see what I see. I mean, it's pretty cool. You could actually see how the object is so dark, and you could see the coronal mass ejection just encapsulated. It's like it's right in the middle of it. And it's almost like every single photograph over all these years, that has been the same scenario. It's one of the key factors that I look at, because it took me, I think the better part of 2 years of noting down in a notebook, just a regular, high school notebook. all of the dates that I've made captures and where on the sun, meaning the 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 12 o'clock position and the date. And after 2 years and filling up that notebook, it hit me, and I started putting all the information together. And then I went back and I started looking at the actual photo captures. And then that's when I started to really understand how this object is orbiting the sun. There's no other way around it. The orbit is a very sharp, elliptical, eccentric orbit around the sun, and it takes approximately 28 days. Excuse me. My allergies have been acting up a little bit. We're getting into that fall season already. I'm allergic to the tree pollen here in Pennsylvania, as I call it. But, those are some of my thoughts there, folks. I worked, I don't know how many hours every single day, 7 days a week for years to try to figure this out. And each and every time, the photographs that I capture, to me, they're still very intriguing to understand that, kind of like that saying goes, everything that you've been taught or meant to believe has pretty much been untrue. Like, I hate to use the word, but lies. And who is to think that our little itty bitty solar system in a massive galaxy in a universe, it's impossible for another planetary intruder to enter or go through our solar system? I mean, we have a decent sized sun. It's super active. It's young. It has a strong magnetic field. You see what it does to comets. So what's to say that sometime in early 2007, this object possibly zipping through space at hyper speeds, a rogue object of some kind. There's billions and trillions of them throughout the entire universe, folks. Just zipping through unimpeded, at millions of miles per hour. Hypervelocity planets, hypervelocity stars. If they come close to another star that has a heavy gravitational pull, well, next thing you know, it becomes an object in an orbit around that star. Well, look at Jupiter. How many moons does Jupiter have? 86, 88, somewhere around there. I mean, for God's sakes, several years ago, it was only 60-something. Like, where are those objects coming from? What, are they just materializing? No. Jupiter has a strong enough gravitational pull that those objects, if they get close enough, they will be pulled in and placed into an orbit. And I think that's what we have here. And I do believe that as decades and centuries go by, the Earth will change over and over and over again. Until maybe, some big, massive, asteroid or comet takes it out. I guess you could call it the cycle of life in the universe. And the Earth is not going to be here forever. The sun is not going to be here forever. And someday, the end will be there. But you would have to assume that life will continue to go on everywhere in the ever-expanding universe. So, hate to get too philosophical with you, but let's get back to this. This is the Cactus program. This is totally different from what you've just seen. And I was able to jump into the Cactus data, get into the archive data, and bingo, on that date, almost at the same time, you're talking a matter of tens of seconds, 20, 30, 45 seconds difference in time on that date, and bingo. And the Cactus, even that Cactus program, it has even more interference that comes up. But we were lucky enough to get something that clear. Let's jump in here and look at it even closer. There looks to be something, I was kind of looking right there where my cursor is, something round right there. I don't know if it's just like a deformation of the video content, but as you can see, it starts to pixelate the more you zoom in, because the resolution on these space satellites cameras, they're very low because high definition didn't exist. But right there, and I don't know if that could be a crater on that object, or it could be a very high raised elevation. It could be any damn thing. But unfortunately, I don't know what it is, but it was kind of caught my eye. I did put this Cactus into this indigo kind of blue format. It brings out a little definition, and it's also placed into a negative, and it helps bring out this object a little more clearly as far as brightness goes. And the reason why I went ahead and added that is because, again, I was so fixated on what this circular formation is. But like I said, because of the quality of the data, the resolution, there's nothing I could do to zoom in further, because it just pixelates real heavy, and it gets distorted. But one thing, when I was looking at this round area right here, there's like a V-shape, a dark V-shape area cut away right there. And that would be according to the light, because the sun's here and it's already getting darker. The object dark here, light right there where it's reflecting off of the sun. So I just can't make up my mind what the hell that is. Or it is part of the coronal mass ejection that kind of just distorted in the data, because the resolution's so low. I don't know, but I thought it was quite fascinating, these last round of photographs. Hopefully within the next, I don't know, maybe 5 to 7 days, we may get another good look at it before it starts to dip back below and behind the sun and out of the view of the satellite with the cameras and telescopes on them, to give us the data so we could see what's up. But you folks, you could already, some people are already starting to see how quick of a change we're going through in the change of the seasons. A lot of you folks, depending on where you live, start to pay attention to see how fast your fall season starts to come into play. How fast the leaves fall off the trees, how fast they turn colors, things of that nature. There's a lot you can tell by looking at the sky in the morning and in the evening at sunrise and sunset. But I've noticed over the last several years here in my neck of the woods, fall has been coming earlier and earlier and lasting a little bit longer, meaning going into the spring. Spring was late. I contribute all of that again to this extreme earth wobble that we've been going through, documenting all the way back to 2012, 13. And this particular year, 2023, this earth wobble is very, very acute, meaning bad. And if it's wobbling the earth, what do you think's going to happen as the earth rotates on its axis? It's now wobbling like a drunk toy top that a kid's spinning and playing with. As it slows, that drunken wobble gets worse. And I can only attribute that, folks, to the earth being influenced by another very strong magnetic field that is closer to us than we are to the sun. And it may be just enough of it touching us that causes the wobble of the earth. I mean, folks, if the earth starts to wobble even more than it is now, then everything on this planet changes. I haven't even begun to think about what type of force that would be on the tectonic plates of this planet. I mean, this could be decades or centuries down the road, or it could be tomorrow. Not trying to scare anybody, but nobody has a crystal ball. We're still trying to learn what the hell it is, where it came from. No disclosure, except what I am able to come up with. And that's been very hard over the years, and man, I've paid the price. Let me tell you. But I wanted to share these with you folks. Again, there's a lot of things that I can't talk about in detail on this YouTube channel. I'm just too heavily targeted. And, YouTube's laid off of me for a while because I try to take a little break and maybe try to change the algorithm to this channel so more people can find it and see it. And it kind of worked. But I have to be very careful. But as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, the subscribe star link to the private Planet X network that I have there. Again, I'm free to talk about, show what I want, and it's kind of like a Facebook page. I can post video, I can post photographs, I can, put my text in there. You folks can comment, you can like, and there goes my phone. Sorry about that. But there's no censoring there. I don't have to worry about somebody sending me an email and saying, hey, we had to take down your material. So, the Subscribe Star Planet X News page has been up for several years. There's a lot of people that subscribe to it because then, they know whatever I post there is of importance. You'll get an email alert that I've posted something there. There's no app that you need to download or anything. You just go straight to the website, and then you could check what I posted at your own convenience. There's also a direct message feature, like you could inbox me. If you had contributions, you could make a donation if you wanted to, but it's $5 a month. I just can't put a lot of things that I'm into right now, folks, on the regular social media. They've just really have my ass, So that's why I put together the Subscribe Star site years ago. And there's been a lot of people that have been subscribed to it. They like it because they can go to one source. They could see what they want to see, read what they want to read. I could put links in there that you can click on and you could go see something for yourself. If I put links into Twitter, links into Facebook, links into YouTube, they see all of that, and if it's something that's been flagged or whatever, then boom, you're back in the radar, back in their sites. So the link is in the description box under all of the videos. So if you guys want to check it out, you can. You can join at any time. You can cancel at any time. Everything is secure there. You don't have to worry about it, because that's why there is no censoring there. None. Zero. Except for like pornography. So you can't do any of that stuff, but that's one of the only rules. But yeah, folks, so I'm still waiting to get this damn dental procedure done. As I mentioned, there was like $2,000 that I had to come up with that my insurance didn't cover. And I couldn't get the procedure done on the 7th. Couldn't come up with it. There's been a lot of folks here on the YouTube channel, followers, subscribers, out of the gracious of their heart, have sent in a lot of donations to help out with this transaction, and I really appreciate it. We're getting a little bit closer as far as having to pay this to get this procedure done. I have a little bit of a mass on my lower jaw. It's directly underneath, I believe, one of my last molars. And there's a very high possibility that it's putting pressure on that facial nerve, therefore causing that Bell's palsy. And that's been a real pain in the ass since mid-July. I'm about sick of it. And that's why I'm talking like this. I still can't feel my lips on the right side, can't feel my tongue or my teeth on the right side. It's a real pain. But yeah, folks, if you have any contributions that you'd like to make, the PayPal link is there for Planet X News. For those of you that want to follow me on Facebook, you could join the Planet X News Facebook page. The Subscribe Star, if you want to join that for the uncensored information, because there's a lot of it that starting this weekend that I'm really going to get into, because it's getting me mad, because I know so many things, but I just can't put them out on social media because, you're not going to see it anyways. So if you guys do want to join the Subscribe Star, it's very, very easy. Just hit subscribe, and then it will take you through, filling out your little profile there, and then you go from there, and it's real easy. And then, like I said, whenever I post, you'll get an email. Check out the email. You could do it at your own free time, whenever you have time. The email ain't going to go anywhere, and neither is the information that I posted. So you can check it out. It's the Subscribe Star link in the description box under the video. But I wanted to jump on here, folks. I wanted to share these photographs with you because they are like really ultra cool, really, really neat stuff. It is fascinating. And, one of the old names, mythical names for this object that, I don't know, they called it the Destroyer. But that was in reference to Nibiru. And I know for a fact that we're not We're not looking at the mythical Nibiru. We're looking at the object that Dr. Harrington found. Okay, this is the one that I think he gave his life for. And he discovered this in the early 80s from a telescope in New Zealand. And he never made it back. He worked for the government. Chief naval astronomer. Died of esophageal cancer. Guy never smoked a cigarette in his life. Perfectly healthy. And yeah, that's that. And the data, back then they were, this data was coming in when they were starting to try to track it with big land-based telescopes, but only in the far, far southern hemisphere. The furthest that they could go at the time was New Zealand, because they were looking downward into that part of space. All very interesting. And a lot of you, if you're new and you don't know a lot of those facts, one day soon I'll go over all of it again and get everybody refreshed on some of the back story, the back history of this object, and then the cover up, and then me being able to get a few breaks and some help and some tenacity on my part and keeping after it. And we found it. And we photographed it. And now we're tracking it. Now we know its orbit. And we're also getting some ideas on what it's doing to our planet. And I don't think it's anything that we can't handle right now. They're kind of normal things that happen on this planet. Maybe a little more destructive. But, the Earth's always going to have earthquakes. It's always going to have wild weather. It's always going to have weather fluctuations. There's always going to be the occasional, meteor that, plummets to Earth. These are all things that are normal to this planet. But now this planet's heavily populated. And some of these changes, they may be minor to the Earth, but to us, they are extreme. Extreme. And that's why they're noticed. And that may be another reason why some of it is becoming more destructive. The only thing you could do is continue to learn and stay in touch with what's happening around you. It's like now your mind has to be a sponge, because now learning is more important than anything. The more you know, the more you learn. That's power. Knowledge is power. But again, folks, I'm going to go ahead and jump off of here. I can feel these little muscles in my face and my cheek are starting to tense up because I talk so much. Starts to get a little annoying. But I will keep up on the path over the next several weeks here, and we'll get some more detailed photographs. And there's so much going on in this world right now, folks. It's crazy. Every single country, man's got something crazy going on. We have to try to keep our eyes on everything that's going on around us. So don't forget that. But anyways, folks, again, the subscribe star link in the description box under the video. Anybody wants to join the private network, you're free to do so. And a couple people have been asking, when am I going to get this oral surgery done? Folks, it all depends on, paying the insurance money for what my insurance isn't going to cover. I'll get back on the appointment list, and I was hoping to get it done as soon as possible here so I could recover from it. But we'll see. Everything takes a little bit of time. And if anybody wants to help out Planet X News, the PayPal link is in the description box also. But I'm going to jump off of here, folks. Be safe, have a good week, and keep your notifications set up, because when you see one coming from Planet X News, boom, jump on it. Take care, folks. God bless.